Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Osman Amin from School of Ocean Engineering of University of Malaysia, Terengganu. I would like to welcome you to the 7th video of the open online course on naval architecture and shipbuilding. This video lecture has been organized into a couple of sections where we would learn about the typical materials used in shipbuilding along with the production processes of steel. And also in this process, we'll get the idea on how to select suitable materials for shipbuilding purposes. Therefore, in this video, we would learn about the characteristics, the selection criteria, and the differences between different materials that are used to build ship nowadays. You can see that the most common materials which are used in shipbuilding are steel, aluminum, composite materials like GRP and FRP, and wood. Steel is used for the hull of all large ships because it is strong, cheap and easily available. Steel alloys are more expensive but have some advantages over mild steel. Mild steel becomes brittle at low temperature. Aluminum and its alloys are expensive but lighter than mild steel. It is usually used for small craft and for the accommodation block of some passenger ships. Because of their cryogenic properties, some LNG tanks are made of aluminum. GRP, which stands for glass reinforced plastic, and FRP, fiber reinforced plastics, are flammable and lose their strength property above ambient temperature quite easily. That is why those are used to build only smaller hulls. Wood was the traditional material for building ships until the 20th century. Some small boats and fishing vessels are still made of wood. Wood boat building is an ancient art and does require a lot of training and skill. In this slide, we will learn a bit about the production of steel. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon, where the carbon content varies from 0.1% to 1.8%. And the processes which are followed to produce steel can be divided into 4 categories. One is open hearth process, electric furnace, oxygen process, and Bessemer converter process. In the open hearth process, the iron ore along with coke and limestone are being fed to the blast furnace as can be seen from the figure. The pig iron which comes out of the furnace contains 92 to 97% iron, and the rest of the constituents are carbon, silicon, manganese, sulfur, and phosphorus. Through further heat treatment, this pig iron is transformed into 2 different types of steels named kiln steel and rimmed steel. Kiln steel indicates that the metal has been solidified in the ingot mold during reduction process with little or no evolution of gas. Steel of this type has a high degree of chemical homogeneity and is popular in shipbuilding. Rimmed steel, on the other hand, is unsuitable for thicker plates since it contains gas blowholes near the center of ingot. Although there are so many different types of steel available for industrial application, the shipbuilding steels are basically chosen from these 5 categories of steel, which are mild steel, high tensile steel, corrosion resistant steel, cast steel, and forged steel. Mild steel is generally used for hull construction. High tensile steel, on the other hand, is used for deck, bottom shell, and framing structures because of its higher strength as compared to mild steel. Although very expensive, corrosion resistant steel for its cryogenic properties is used for liquefied gas tank barriers. Cast steel is suitable for frames, rudder frames, and spectacle frames for bossings. Large engine crankshafts are made up of forged steel. The main advantage of using aluminum rather than steel is the reduction of building cost. Almost 60% weight of a steel structure can be reduced if it is made up of aluminum alloys. Aluminum is also high resistance to corrosion and is non-magnetic. Its main disadvantage is its higher cost and lower melting point as compared to steel. Composite materials are mostly used to build small ships because of its low weight, high strength, and stiffness. But because of its high flammability and labor intensiveness in production, causes its usage limited to leisure boats and fishing vessels. So this is the end of our video lecture on characteristics and selection of shipbuilding materials. Hope you've learned something from this video. In the next video, we'll go through the ship construction and fabrication procedures as follows by the shipyards nowadays. Until then, goodbye, and thank you very much.